everyone, I'm Kate and I'm the new Social Relationships and Sexuality Educator at Wildwood Programs. Today's topic, as you saw earlier in the title, self-care. Let's talk about a definition of self-care. What does it mean? Anything that fills you back up and makes your energy feel like I'm at full again. And also preferably anything, that does that in a good way. We're looking for our spirits, our mood, and our bodies to kind of just feel like, wow, my energy's in a good place. I have a little visual here. This is you! I hope I got the likeness okay. I can't actually see you, so I had to kind of draw you from my imagination. There you are. And right now, I don't know if you have too much energy because you're empty. So what are some things that could fill you up? We have lots of options. That's another piece of good news. We can use all 5 of our senses, right? And what are our 5 senses? Our sight, our smell, our hearing, our taste, and our sense of touch, right? Anything we can sort of feel on our skin. So we can use all 5 senses, or one at a time, whatever we want to do, to think of different activities for self-care. So an easy one would be good food, right? We can eat for self-care. So I have some examples here of some food. So we could eat healthy fruits like apples, right? We'll put that in the basket. We could eat proteins are really important, healthy proteins. So I have my can of beans here, but generally speaking, any sort of fruits, vegetables, proteins, right? I'm sure you guys know this stuff already. Making our bodies full of healthy energy, requires healthy food. I also have here some pumpkin seeds, if anybody likes crunchy things. So we'll give you some good food for energy. What the heck, we'll have a second apple. There's room in the basket. So food is a good start to help us with self-care. Just as important as food is water, right? We gotta stay hydrated. Make sure to drink plenty of water, or maybe tea without any sweetener in it, or other healthy things like milk. And definitely make sure you talk to your doctor and your nutritionist. Have a team that works with you, make sure you're talking to the nurses or medical professionals related to your team, so that you can know how much, to drink. Especially when you're under stress, it can be helpful to make sure that you're hydrated so that your body really, again, has enough energy to keep going. So our basket's already getting kind of full with our food and our water in it. These are some of the big basic needs, right, for self-care. Food, water, and I also want to add in some sleep. Those are I think these are all the ones that we always hear about, right? But now I want to go beyond the basics: food, water, sleep. Ready? And to do that, I'm going to make the contents of this basket disappear. Ta-da! So I'm going to put you down for a second. Because I actually want to pause here. When I say we're going to go beyond the basics, so food and water and sleep, I want to try a little exercise. But if you'd like to participate, I'd like you to make sure that you're seated somewhere comfortable, or if you're standing, just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. We're going to do sort of a relaxation kind of thing. So I want to make sure that you're not going to fall over, that your balance isn't in a bad way, that, hopefully you're not driving right now, or, something like that. Or if you're a passenger, that's okay. But so make yourself sort of in a way that you're safe. You can even pause the video here if you need to. And I'd like you to do whatever feels safer. Either close your eyes, or if you don't want to close your eyes, that's okay, but find a little point that you can focus on. You can focus on me, you can focus on whatever. But just kind of let yourself kind of come to rest, and let your gaze come to rest. And as you do that, I want you to just take a couple of deep breaths. Nice and deep, and out. Nice and slow, exhale. And in, and out. Just letting yourself kind of relax. And for just a few seconds, I want you to see what you can notice inside of you. Just notice what's going on. And by that, I mean anything. Anything that's happening inside your own mind and body. Take your time. And I'll just look at you pleasantly, just waiting patiently. Good job, keep going. See what else you can notice. Anything else? You sure? I mean, I can come closer and take a look even and see if I see anything. Good job. All right, take another deep breath if you need to kind of bring yourself back into the moment. Open your eyes or kind of lift your gaze back up. There's a lot going on inside you, right? We're empty again because we got to talk about what's already inside you that needs the self-care, right? So here's the stuff you might have noticed inside yourself. Things like emotions. Emotions, of course, are things like happy, sad, angry, mad, surprised, confused. Can you name some? There's so many. There's like hundreds of them. You can always have like several emotions at once. It might not even be just one. You might notice memories. Maybe you closed your eyes and, remembered another video you watched that you thought was entertaining, right? So memories, maybe you thought about your birthday. Maybe you, thought about, people that you love, right? So you also might have noticed just thoughts, right? Maybe you closed your eyes and thought, gee, I wonder when this video is going to be over, right? Or maybe you thought, I have to go to the bathroom, right? Which is another thing happening inside your body, right? Bodily functions, right? You might have closed your eyes and noticed, I'm hungry, I'm tired. Maybe you heard, maybe when you close your eyes and focus, you heard the gurgle of your stomach. There's a lot going on inside you, right? That the least of which are thoughts, emotions, memories, bodily functions, and more, right? So look at how much is going on inside you. This basket is just full of bricks. All of those different parts of you need self-care, right? The reason why I mentioned food and water to start is because, again, we hear about those all the time, but what about these other parts of you? Believe it or not, they need self-care too, right? In order to kind of, be getting along with everybody and feeling our best. So in this next part, I'll talk about some of these other parts that need some tending in order to have maximum self-care. Emotions, right? We're going to move into some of the self-care stuff that maybe we don't always talk about. Let's start off by me asking you, and you can pause the video if you like to talk amongst yourselves. What are emotions, and why do we have them? Right? What do you think? For the purposes of this video today, I think it's important to think about emotions as signals, right? Signals and information, right? And they're also true. There may be other people or places or things that don't always tell us the full truth, but our emotions, unless we have inaccurate information, our emotions tell us the truth, the truth of how we feel based on what we know. So they're important to listen to, right? It's a really important part for health. In fact, we know that if we do things like deny our emotions or, ignore them for long periods of time, or, if we kind of have bad emotional health, that it can affect us physically, right? It can give us stomach aches. It can give us all kinds of different, medical issues, pain in our bodies. There can be things that happen from, having unhealthy emotional situations. So emotions, right? What are they? Things like happy, hooray! Things like sad, things like angry, I'm so angry. Or surprise, right? But you get the picture. All the feelings that we feel. And sometimes we can feel emotions, different people feel different emotions differently. Maybe I feel fear and anxiety in my stomach, oh no, I have butterflies in my stomach, I don't know. but maybe Jeff, my partner who's holding the camera, well, Jeff, honey, you tell him. I'm not even sure I know completely. Like, where's a place that you feel like you feel anxiety in your body?
Oh, I suppose in my chest or in my arms, kind of like in my nerves,
And for you guys at home, I wonder, right, like, where do you feel your emotions? That can be important to get in touch with, to tell the difference, say, between, like, a stomach ache that's hunger or a stomach ache that's anxiety, right? I encourage you to listen to yourself and get to know what your emotions are telling you. Because, again, emotions are there for a reason. They don't usually just happen out of the blue. But I want to actually give you, some tips and, ideas for self-care so that when we're feeling anger, when we're feeling stress, when we're feeling anxiety, right? When we're feeling those things, and they can drain us, right? So what can we do? So we'll get to some tips. We've got a lot happening in the world. Want to, make it seem like, self-care is easy to do. I don't want to make it seem like we're all supposed to be happy, and laughing and smiling all the time, like that's, not necessarily true. I just kind of want to acknowledge that, we live like in a moment, in a time right now that's very challenging, right? We've got maybe our own problems at home, personal to us, the things that frustrate us and drive us crazy. We've got what may be going on in our family, right? There can be stress there. If there's someone we love and we care about and something bad is happening for them. Maybe we live with a few people, maybe we live in like a group home and there's something happening in the house that's, kind of affecting everybody. Or maybe we live, as citizens of the world, right? Maybe we're watching the news and feeling scared and frightened. One important skill is to always think about how we view everything, right? To remember that there is still good happening and to remember that, and we'll get through this. That's the other thing is that, bad things do pass. But sometimes it can feel like they're taking forever. And, we may be in a time right now where there's a lot of that feeling. I guess that's my point with this little moment is to say, like, it may feel right now like there's just a lot of negative energy around us, a lot of anger, a lot of stress, a lot of worry, a lot of fear, and it can be hard to feel healthy inside if it's kind of coming at us a lot. This is another reason why self-care is important, again, to remind you that that's in your control. And to remember that you may need to regularly take care of yourself during this time right now. Because there may be like a continual sense of negativity in the air. You can make that choice that you can regularly take care of yourself and think about, who and what's around you. Let's talk about self-care. The things, remember, the definition of that is the things that fill you up. And this is going to be different for everybody, right? Some things you may have in common with others. But what's important is that it's okay to be yourself and that you find some practices, more than one. Build it like a toolbox. That's my recommendation anyway. Have more than one thing that makes you feel like you're filling yourself back up. So you could watch movies and TV. Maybe I'm sure many of you do this already. I have some examples here. Watching things that you love. And it doesn't even have to be funny. But funny is great to laugh, but sometimes it's fun to watch maybe like an old movie or show. Use YouTube, look up old stuff that makes you feel sort of like you're coming home a little bit, right? Like kind of like you're visiting an old friend. So we can put movies and TV shows we love in there. I also recommend reading, right? And even if you're not someone who likes to read words, pictures. I happen to like National Geographic a lot. Magazines are great because they have words and pictures, right? And National Geographic is a magazine that talks about cool stuff all over the world in history and in present time. And there's all kinds of really cool pictures. And some of the advertisements are cool to look at, like, really cool trucks and robots. Walrus? I don't even know what the plural is. Look at these guys. Read, you can look at pictures and books. This is a hairbrush. Let's talk for a second about what I'm wearing and why I'm wearing it, and the hairbrush. One thing that I like to do for myself is get cozy. sometimes the days feel heavy, and on days like today, especially if there's stressful stuff happening, I like to get cozy. So I decided to wear a hat, a nice soft knit hat, hand knit hat. And I always like wearing a nice soft scarf, you know, so that if I get chilly, I can wrap it around my shoulders. And I'm wearing this, one of my favorite sweaters to wear. That's a way of using our sense of touch to soothe us. Who else here likes blankets? Really, really soft, right? Sometimes I get cozy with my blankets, and like Jeff will come over and be like, I don't want those blankets on me. And so he finds a different blanket for himself that feels better. Or he doesn't wear a blanket. Because just to point out, you don't have to like blankets, but it's a suggestion, right? When you're alone, the thing you can do to take care of yourself is to like, you know, put things on your body that feel nice on your skin. Or like with the hairbrush, just brushing your hair, or asking someone else you trust to brush your hair for you, right? Can feel so nice. Even just to take a nice shower or bath. I don't know, you guys at home, do you like showers and baths? Can help cut stress down, help you relax, right? All this kind of stuff that I'm suggesting should help you get in touch with your feelings, help you relax, move through things, like move through those feelings and recharge, right? We're filling ourselves back up. Let's use our sense of smell. This is lavender oil. I want to ask you at home, what are things that you like to smell? Right? What are some scents that you really, really love? Here, I wish this were a scratch and sniff video. Pretends that this rock, this like Stonehenge deal, let's pretend it's a scratch and sniff sticker. And when you scratch it, when I scratch it, it's gonna smell like your number one favorite smell. Whoever's watching right now, just get your favorite smell in your head, and I'm gonna scratch it. I'm scratching it, and it's making this magical rock is gonna smell exactly like your favorite scent. Just imagine with me and bring it to you. Ready? Go. Just smell your favorite scent right there. Right? And the lavender smells really good too. So I'm putting that in the basket. Look at all this stuff. We're filling up our basket. But it's not full yet. Wait, there's more. Does anybody here like to do art? I'll just reach out here and see what we've got here. We've got lots of records at our house, and I just reached in and randomly picked one up, and it's a soundtrack to the Broadway musical Hair. So look at that funky colors. So we love music. Who else loves music out there? Right? Listen to music. And this is my coloring book for Winnie the Pooh. I happen to love Winnie the Pooh. This is my example of art. So you can do art, you can listen to music. And another good one for feelings especially is writing in a journal. It's okay to keep your feelings private too. You know, I advocate sharing your feelings with people that you trust, right? It's also okay to feel private about your feelings. And a journal is a really good way to express yourself, but also keep things private. You can even scrabble on the page. It doesn't even have to be words. Sometimes I just like to go to a page and just scribble my feelings. You know, it can be hard if you're someone who has trouble finding words, right? Just go to a piece of paper and just scribble those feelings. And imagine the markers just bringing all your feelings onto the paper. Because sometimes when we express our feelings and get them out of us, we don't feel the same way later. Just how we felt in the moment. And that's okay, people, but a journal is a good way to do either way. Look at all this stuff we got in our basket now. Now we've got like an overflowing basket. Another thing I can suggest, right? So to deal with stress, physical activity, exercise, right? You can walk, march, you can dance, run, you can jump. Sometimes if you're, you know, right at this particular moment when I'm making this video, it's not always easy to go outside, right? Like right now we're, you know, in a time when it's a good idea to stay away from other people. You know, we might not have access to like a big space, but you could always like dance, right? You can march in place while you're like watching TV, watching a movie. Physical activity, right? There's also getting rid of my physical feelings, moving through them and de-stressing by using my hands, right? We talk a lot about hitting. It's not okay to hit someone else. Not okay. You know, not unless you're playing a sport like boxing. And then you definitely have their permission. So we don't want to hit each other ever with anger. Or, you know, even sometimes as a joke, if someone else doesn't know that it's coming, you can hurt them and hurt their feelings. You can make them feel foolish, right? But sometimes it's okay to hit stuff that's not people, right? Like, let's see, if I take these fists, I like these fists because they make cool noises. And they're really padded like boxing gloves. These are from the character The Thing in Fantastic Four. So sometimes when I'm feeling really frustrated and I'm having trouble finding words and I'm having trouble getting in touch with myself, just kind of loosen everything up, I'll actually put on these fists, or boxing gloves, or, anything that will keep my hands safe, right? If we think before we act, moving our bodies around can be a great way to de-stress and move our emotions around, right? So we put on our fists, our hands are protected, and we find a place where we're not going to hurt anybody. We just kind of like I like to imagine like the feelings inside me. I like to picture them, and I like to picture my feelings and my stress coming out through my fists, right? And I picture myself just and my hands are safe, right? Because I have plenty of padding on. But these are the best get too, right? Let's think about it, like a day of listening to music, relaxing in a bathtub, like lots and lots of self-care, listening to music, laughing, taking that bath, brushing your hair, putting on clothing that you love, using all of our senses, right? I was talking about that earlier, looking at things that make us feel better, expressing our emotions, right? Like as I was demonstrating with words or with our bodies, right? Even with dance, right? We can dance happy, right? We can dance sad, right? We can dance all kinds of feelings. So using our bodies for that, adding all of this stuff and taking care of ourselves, what that can do to help us de-stress. So all that said, those are some ideas. I'm curious what some of your ideas are. If there's a place to put comments on this page, I encourage you. I'd love to see what you like to do to de-stress. And to, for self-care for you, that's things that make you feel really good. Remember too, another important one for self-care, you can certainly use other people in healthy ways, right? Sharing your feelings with someone that you trust verbally, or showing them, right? Like just to be like, ah! Dancing with someone, laughing with someone, playing a game with someone. We didn't talk about that either, but the idea of engaging with other people is that again, you're doing it in a way that you both feel better afterwards, not that you feel worse and they feel worse. I hope some of these ideas were helpful for you. As for self-care, why am I going to all this trouble to make this video today? I think it's because, we're in such a unique time right now, all together, right, on this planet. Sometimes there are just, these days where we feel blue, depressed, sad, where we watch the news and we get sad. Those emotions are okay to have, so I'm making this video though to help remind us that you don't want to get stuck there, that we should be careful, take care of yourself. You only have you, you are you, and there's only one of you, and you're special. You have special talents that no one else has. You have special things you can do in the world, even if it's just to be a kind person, right? At certain times we can feel drained, and it's okay. Don't be disturbed if you have a day where you feel sad, blue, frustrated, angry. There can be a tendency to get mad that you're mad, but it's okay. We all have those times. The only thing that matters is just being true to ourselves and how we feel, being as kind to ourselves as we would to our friends. I hope this gives you some ideas about how to do that for yourself. I hope it gave you some reasons why to think about doing it for yourselves. Sometimes we help everybody else and not ourselves. Helping others can be a nice way to feel good, but our baskets can run dry. You've got to help you first, so that you have enough energy to be helping the world. So it's not selfish to take care of yourself at all. And it helps you get to know yourself and what your talents are. You might surprise yourself. You might enjoy yourself, right? I hope these ideas were helpful today, something to think about. And I send you all lots of love and positive energy. Again, to acknowledge you're not alone if you're feeling sad, mad, anxious these days. Let's let all those emotions in, right? Let's let them all in, and know that they're normal to have, and know that, if you're getting those negative ones, it's a sign that you could use the self-care, right? Like it's a sign that there are some problems out there. So let's stop and give it the love, give whatever we need, our love and kindness, to help it move through. Okay? Thanks for watching. I love myself, and I take care of my emotions, and I do self-care to try to help myself be healthy and strong. Being silly can be good for self-care too.